Hey, this is Jeff Vilwalk, the Caribbean Beach Exec. Appreciate you joining me on this video. This is number 4 of a 5-part series that we're doing on Expat Havens. Okay, there's a huge number of people that have already moved south of the border. Now we're talking into the Caribbean, we're talking into Belize, talking Costa Rica, Panama, and so I really wanted to focus some attention because I think if you've been following me at all, you know next September I'm going down to Costa Rica for 90 days. So I'm making the move, if you will, to Costa Rica. We're going to be there for 90 days. I can only get a 90-day visa to begin with, and so that's what we're doing. Then we'll come back to the States, and we've got some decisions to make. But the first video we did was on Belize, and so please go back to YouTube if you haven't seen that. The second one was on Panama. The third one was on Costa Rica. Today we're going to be talking about the Eastern Caribbean, and then tomorrow, the 5th of this series will be about Grand Cayman and the Cayman Islands. So basically that's what we're doing. I appreciate you're here. The Eastern Caribbean is a whole series of islands that really start just south of Puerto Rico in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So you got St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, and then it goes south from there. Now, if you've checked out my bio at all, you probably know that I've spent a lot of time in St. Kitts. St. Kitts is really at the beginning of the next chain of islands to go all the way down to Barbados. It's called the Eastern Caribbean, and in fact, there's if you've ever been down there and you're looking at the dollar bill you're looking at, it's the Eastern Caribbean dollar. In fact, I should have brought one. I'll bring one next time. It's the Eastern Caribbean dollar. Okay, the EC dollar is used by 9 nations. Okay, it's pegged to the U.S. dollar. All right, so there's a very exact exchange rate between the U.S. dollar and the Eastern Caribbean dollar, and that doesn't change. And the Federal Reserve, if you will, of the Eastern Caribbean sits on St. Kitts. So St. Kitts is really the political hub. There's an organization of Eastern Caribbean states that was created in what was called the Basseterre Treaty in St. Kitts, Basseterre being the capital of St. Kitts. And so that's the treaty that tied all these nations together as they became independent from the Brits in the early 1980s. So it's now been over 30 years, very stable governments, and from a lifestyle standpoint, it's very nice. So outside of that, it really depends what you're looking for. If you want great scuba and great diving, there are certain areas within that chain of islands that are better than others. If you're looking for a larger island where you get down to Trinidad, or it's probably a little bit more prosperous but much smaller, Tobago, that's what people are looking for. Or Barbados is very popular. But for the expat community, my sense is, a lot of people are still moving to the USVI. It's very, very nice. Although, I'd say, I've been to St. Thomas a couple of times. I'm not impressed at all. And and it's a more dangerous island on St. Thomas and U.S. Virgin Islands than it is in St. Kitts or Nevis. That place is, the crime down there. While there is some local, there's always local drug kind of stuff. On expats, very, 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 very rare. So that whole area is beautiful. Obviously, you have the heat, you have the beaches. You've got great restaurants. If you want to go high end, there are opportunities. Necker Island. Branson. Now, that's his island, but when he's not there, you can rent his house, and I forget what it is, $20,000 a night or something. So you can go very high end. And there's St. Bart's. You got your yacht. You just come right in there. You want something more economical? St. Kitts is a fraction of living in the United States, as is most of the EC. But realize that most of the EC is a relatively poor area of the world. All right, so their per capita income is going to be a third, to half of what it is in the United States. And if you get into the Dominican Republic, it's going to be lower than that. So, there's a trade-off always with these islands. But again, politically, almost all of them are very, very stable. Okay, St. Kitts has an economic citizenship program. If you want a passport, that is not a U.S. passport, and realize most affluent people around the world have two passports. I mean, it's not an unusual thing, except for Americans. Americans kind of think that we're it, and that's all that exists. But if you want a second passport, St. Kitts passport is a wonderful passport. It'll get you into all the EC, over 100 countries without a visa. You know, it is it is a premier second passport. It can be obtained in two ways, and if you contact me, I'd be glad to go through that with you. There's a real process, but we know all the political people in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we can make that happen for you. So this is the Caribbean Beach Exec. Eastern Caribbean is a great place to spend time and on vacation, or or potentially to live. If you have any questions, please let me know. Until later, I'll talk to you.